Well, good evening, everybody. Glad you could join us tonight in Atlanta News First Plus studio. I'm Shon Gables here in Atlanta, and we're going to have First Alert meteorologist Fred Campanga with me in just a moment. But we are super busy tonight. Milton is now out to sea, but the damage that Milton has left behind, it is a mess, and we are covering breaking news. So let's get straight to that right now. And you see all this damage. I'm sure you've been watching it on TV all day today. But there is some breaking news. 2 federal judges have rejected requests to immediately reopen voter registration in Georgia and Florida as the Southeast continues to grapple with significant storm damage, both in the Southeast, as I mentioned, and all of this ahead of the November election. The arguments were pushed by the NAACP, the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda, and the New Georgia Project. They were asking the courts to extend the deadline by only 1 week, but the judges said their argument lacked clarity and detail as to how specific individuals were harmed by both Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. Both of those storms hit the South back to back. Attorneys for Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, both of whom are Republicans, argued there would be a significant administrative burden on the state's elections office if the voter registration deadline was to be extended. So for now, this is what we're dealing with. The request has failed. There will be no extension for voters, regardless if you suffered storm damage and it impacted you from being able to register to vote. Registration was over on Monday. It is out of the question. And this is all despite Hurricane Milton claiming the lives of at least 13 people. Right now, millions are without power as Floridian evacuees prepare to return home. WGPA Macon's Dustin Howard has more.
Campers and RVs like these belonging to Florida drivers can still be found across Middle Georgia waiting for Hurricane Milton to pass. People here at Lane Southern Orchard told me there are a number of factors to consider before traveling home, including the unknown conditions and potential damage they'll return to.
There's a balance between how much is it going to cost to evacuate, at the same time what is the impacts if you don't do it.
After spending long hours on the road and days in Georgia, Florida evacuees are already hearing stories of the damage Milton left behind back home in Florida.
We've talked to a lot of people and seen a lot of pictures from different family and friends that did stay and saw a lot of damage down there.
Juan Ayala and his family fled from Sarasota on Tuesday. He expects trouble at the gas pump on their way home. Do y'all have any idea when y'all will be able to go back?
Well, there's a gas shortage on the way up, and so we're kind of waiting until we know that we can get gas on the way back down.
George Webster Sr. and Jr. are heading home now, dreading what was already a difficult journey.
We were doing like 10 miles an hour and then stop. The freeway was just packed. It was the most miserable trip I ever had up here.
The father-son duo pray they have a home left standing.
Well, hopefully we still have property left down there.
The Georgia Department of Transportation does have a map online where you can monitor real-time road conditions. We'll have that link at WPGAnews.com. I'm Dustin Howard, WPGA News, Macon.
And take a look at what's left of Tampa Stadium. The roof is gone, and this is what first responders and relief workers from North Georgia will see. Many already on the ground in the Sunshine State, mobilizing to help our neighbors in Florida. Fitch Ratings, by the way, is estimating Hurricane Milton could hit $50 billion in losses for those insured. And a fleet of tanker vessels right now being dispatched carrying tens of millions of gallons of gasoline and diesel to help the fuel shortage there. Atlanta News First, Brittany Ford has more.
I'm Brittany Ford in Atlanta, where organizations are mobilizing to help the devastation in Florida. This tree trimming company is based almost 800 miles north in Pennsylvania, showing you the outreach of helping hands. The trucks will take off to Florida Friday morning to help clean up debris and trim back fallen trees. Home Depot also had over 400 volunteers assembling disaster relief kits filled with things like PPE masks and cleaning supplies. Those kits will be sent down to Florida and North Carolina Thursday afternoon.
And before we wrap things up tonight, Atlanta News First Tracy Hutchins breaks down our top stories tonight.
A Cobb County babysitter accused of abusing a 10-month-old. Noli Cabrera facing aggravated assault, strangulation, and child cruelty charges. Ethel Kennedy, the widow of Robert F. Kennedy Sr., dies at age 96, days after the human rights activist suffered a stroke in her sleep. Kamala Harris will participate in a CNN town hall. Former President Donald Trump has yet to respond to the invitation. The Piedmont Park Conservancy asking for your input on future improvements. You can take a survey and use an interactive map to give suggestions on upgrades. Social Security officials announcing the smallest cost of living hike since 2021. The 2.5% boost adds about $50 per retiree every month. Fisher-Price recalls millions of its infant Snugga swings after the suffocation deaths of 5 babies. Volunteers create a place for everyone to play. A kid-designed playground just constructed at Barack and Michelle Obama Academy in Atlanta.
And real quickly, we're going to be bringing in Fred Campanga, Atlanta News First Alert meteorologist, to talk about the weekend weather. I know it's on your mind, but I just want you to mark this for your calendar if you have weekend plans. The weather going to be perfect. Make sure you join the American Cancer Society's Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk. It's going to be at Atlantic Station in Midtown. That's in Atlanta. You can join the Atlanta News First team this Saturday. The warm-up starts really early at 8 a.m., but the actual walk starts at 9. We want to see you there. And take a look at these fancy buses. This is a brand new fleet of MARTA buses for Atlanta Pride. The Pride festivities, by the way, taking place in Atlanta all weekend long, including the Atlanta Pride Parade. Atlanta News First is the proud media sponsor for the parade. You can watch the entire thing live at noon on Peachtree TV on Sunday afternoon. We got the best seat in the house. Our Pride kickoff coverage with Madeline Montgomery is tonight at 11 p.m. on Atlanta News First on our newscast. You can also see it on Peachtree TV at 10. But I'm going to bring you in, Fred, as we take a look at the beautiful skyline right here, downtown Atlanta. Not too hot, not too cold. Fall is finally here. It's about time.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right, Sean. And you say not too hot, not too cold. I definitely agree with that. However, by the middle of next week, some people, I'm sure, are going to be saying too cold. But that's a little ways down the road. We do have a First Alert Weather Day next week. So how's everybody doing this evening? We're just about done talking about Milton, finally, thankfully. The storm came through. Good riddance to it. Just a massive storm, so much devastation from the tornadoes to the storm surge to the winds and the flooding rain. Pretty ridiculous stuff happening in Florida last night. And I'm wearing pink today. And if you take a look here on my camera, you see that? Northern lights visible to our north right now. That's New Jersey right there. So the last time, back on May 10th, that the northern lights were visible like that in New Jersey, they were visible here in North Georgia. We have a crystal clear night. Fingers crossed that in the next hour or two, we're going to start to see that showing up in North Georgia. How do you see it? You go outside and you look north. And you let your eyes adjust a little bit. It may be kind of faint if it is visible here. Last time it was sort of faint. You could be like, oh, I think I see it. And then if you took a picture of it, the pictures actually did it a little more justice. Let me again show you my phone here, which I think shows up pretty well. That was from our parking lot back on May 10th. And you can see those colors. And there's a lot of light in our parking lot. And to be able to see that was really cool. And kind of, I thought, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime thing for the Atlanta area, but I guess not. It could be more of a twice-in-a-one-year span thing if they do show up tonight. All right, there's a live look out there right now. That is from the top of our West Midtown studio. And I want to show you real quick, post-tropical Milton continuing to move away from the U.S. Thankfully, skies are clear throughout our area. So if those northern lights are out there, they will be very visible. No cloud cover to cause any problems tonight. Oh, already 59 in Griffin, 58 in LJ, 60 for Covington. Athens is at 62. It's going to be a cool night as that temperature dips into the 40s and low 50s first thing tomorrow morning. 47 Carrollton, 47 Canton, 48 for Covington. Athens in the upper 40s. If you like a pumpkin spice latte, not really, more of a just black coffee guy myself, but it'll be hot tomorrow morning and to warm you up a little bit if you happen to be out early in those 40-something degree temperatures. I haven't seen a lot of that so far this season, and there's much cooler than that coming our way in the 7-day forecast. What a great day tomorrow will be. High temperatures will be in the middle 70s with a lot of sunshine, dry air in place, very dry air right through the weekend. 78 by Saturday afternoon after a very cool start. Sunday afternoon about 82 degrees. So the weather does look great, as Sean was alluding to, for some of the events that are going on this weekend, and I'll show you those event forecasts in just a second. I want to show you how the low temperatures trend, though. Cooler in the near term, milder on Monday, but then cooler in the middle of next week, and really the coolest that we've seen so far this season and so far in about 6 months coming our way in the middle of next week. Saturday morning, mid-40s to around 50 degrees, but once that sun gets going, we're in good shape. 52 by 8 in the morning, 10 in the morning, 62 in noon, 71 degrees. So weather should be nice for the Making Strides breast cancer walk that'll be taking place at Atlantic Station. On Sunday morning, still some 40s popping up, about 54 in Atlanta Sundays. The culmination of Atlanta Pride. There's the parade, which happens at noon. Always a fun time. We'll be there again, the Atlanta News First team on the float, and the weather just looks incredible. Sunshine, temperatures warming on Sunday, so a seasonally warm day near 80 degrees, and we just keep going with clear skies. It's interesting, not only have we had basically dry weather, I think 2/100 of an inch of rain since Helene came through, but we have had clear weather too. I mean, no clouds around, and there are none in the forecast, possibly right through the weekend into early next week. There you start to see a few clouds coming into the picture. I cannot rule out a stray shower on Tuesday. That's when a front moves through, and that front is going to bring with it some much cooler air in the middle of next week. And once that sets up shop, it could be here for a few days in the midweek. So look at this 7-day forecast. Next 3 days are outstanding. Monday's about 81 degrees. Tuesday down to 71. We have a 20% chance of showers on Tuesday and on Wednesday. I think the better chance of catching a stray shower is on Tuesday. And check out those low temperatures on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. So Wednesday's a first alert weather day. You may be wondering why. And the reason for it is because it's just going to be that day where you go, wow, fall is really here, as temperatures will be in the 40s around Atlanta, maybe some 30s showing up, upper 30s, mountains, possibly West Georgia, and also highs in the 60s. So get set for that. I got about a dozen hoodies on my shelf at home that I'm just waiting to start putting those into rotation, and we'll definitely be doing that as we go through the middle of next week. All right, have a great evening. Don't forget, pop outside, check out the Northern Lights. If you can't head outside, check us out on Peachtree TV at 10 o'clock. We'll give you the latest on whether they're visible. If they are visible, I'll get my good camera out there, take a couple pictures, show those on the air, and check in again tonight on Atlanta News First at 11. Have a great evening.